Hello and welcome to this video where we're going to help you understand the responsibilities of being a liaison between the Math Study Center and the Pathway Connect online students. We first start with a little review of online outreach. Part of the mission of this university is that we reach out and we spread across the world. And in doing that, you already know, if there's a phone call and it's tough, but you can tutor over phone. You have Zoom rooms that you can take people into, and the default for everything is the chat, where you can take pictures of things you write, you can type back and forth, and these are the connections that they have. Well, Pathway Connect is a whole different program that many of you may not be familiar with, so let's talk about it. Most universities have some sort of an online outreach program where students who have had a certain level of residency credits at their university can complete their degree online. Well, BYU Idaho and the church put together an amazing program where students can live in a bunch of different places. I mean, they could be in Rome, they could be in Mexico. I've seen students in Latvia, Ghana, or in as far away as Idaho Falls. And all of these little locations have places where these students will gather. I'm going to put that word down. It's going to be pretty important here. They gather together every week while they're all taking online courses from BYU Idaho. And this connects them to the university, but they also have a chance to be on an institute campus, a church campus, so to speak, while they're taking these courses, so they get their residency credits, and then they come and usually become BYU Idaho online students where they can finish their degree. Of course, they could go off and do other things, but the tie to campus is cool. They use our curriculum, and they've got Math 100 G or L. We're going to talk about L for a while here, but it's also a G for domestic students, native English speakers, and L for those that need help understanding American English, and they may have been raised under British English and need some help understanding like word problems and stuff. But Math 100 G or L, and really what it is these courses are Math 100A on campus and Math 100B on campus. So if you feel comfortable tutoring basic algebra and arithmetic, then the content of this course isn't going to be tough at all. So let me tell you what these students do. They sign up for, say, a math class, and during the week they have a folder A, and it has some presentation and some instructions and maybe a little quiz. And then they have a folder B, and this is where they do a gathering. So this happens on Thursday nights all across the world. And then a C folder by the end of the week, by Saturday, where they have another quiz that they need to take care of, possibly an exam that week, stuff like that. As they run into problems, they are able to connect up with tutoring and stuff like that. But your job is not just to be there and passively receive their questions, but to actively go out and get them. Now, that won't mean traveling. That will mean that you are placed in the courses. So as a liaison, you're placed in the course as a TA. So let's look at the courses and see what that looks like. So here we are, and you'll see this is, it says Math PC. That's Math, and then Pathway Connect 100L. So I get to see the online master, so I'm afraid I won't be able to show you any students, but you'll notice the name of it is English Language and Personal Finance. So we see, here's the Canvas thing here, so we'll go through the syllabus and some of these other things so you can see how it works. Students will be able to link them. Now, some of your responsibilities, that might include that students get on, they're like, how do I get into my course? And it's just in their Canvas course, and you can see here on the syllabus, we can go through some of the things that they have. What the description is, notice that it's going to recap, learn, and retain fundamentals of basic mathematics and arithmetic algebra. So that's 100A and 100B here, and then personal finance. So there's some cool stuff there. They have a PDF of the textbook. So it's free online. We have copies of it here in the Math Lab, so you should make sure and become familiar with those. They notice they're going to be doing a lot of homework, and so some of them may not have read this, and it may be helpful to help them understand it. Now, notice that here the category of exams, coursework, so it's got all of the homework and everything down here, projects that they're going to do like Excel projects, and other policies. You won't need to know a lot about that, but this is very important. Quizzes are a part of every lesson except in the conclusion. They're going to take 4 exams. So these weeks right here, these are important. These weeks here in the Math Study Center are huge as these students are preparing for these exams. So pay attention to these weeks, 4, 7, 10, and 13. And notice these are the exact same policies as Math 100B and 100A online. If they earn 75% on their first attempt of a quiz or an exam, a retake will be required. So that means, just like you do with campus students, you will be expected to go over exams that they have already taken and help them understand what they missed. When you do a retake or when you go over a test with them, find out what their teacher's name is and the percent that they already got on their exam. It is possible, however unfortunate, that some of these students have attempted to use the tutors to do their test for them. Don't make a big deal about it, but we do need to make sure that they have already taken the test. So ask their teacher and the percent, and if they tell you, great, write it down and then help them with the problems with a clear conscience. And if they won't tell you, say, I'm afraid my boss will not allow me to do that. So they can take the quiz, it's available. And anyway, so they're the policies with regards to that. So you'll see that quite a bit. Notice there is a live chat. That's the link to you guys right there in their syllabus. So if students have been complaining to you that they can't get help by email, and you're like, hey, get on the chat. And they're like, what chat? So here are also some supplementary things that they're able to use. Let's dive into a lesson and see what these lessons look like. Here is the textbook. We'll pull up this textbook just so you can see what it looks like, and we'll go through just a couple of them. Looks like a standard math textbook. Oh, look, right there. All right, here we are in the week 3, decimals and income and expenses. Notice the first part is all about language study, so if you're in 100G, you won't have that. You should start down here. There's a video that they need to watch, which gives some instruction. We'll show you what that looks like. Yeah, here's arithmetic of decimals right here and some processes. And you'll notice that this guy right here, it's just a video of me teaching math to these students. So just recognize that that's all that's going on, is they're watching a video and it's just like being in class on campus. Then after that, they do the homework. So here's the practice exercise 1.3 part A. You saw that here, this runs them straight to the reading, and then this will run them straight to the exercise sets with the answers right behind it. Now, if they're having trouble, this is very important for you guys to realize that before they come to your help, now don't kick them off, but they have an option to view a tutorial. In Math Exercise 1.3 Part A, here are the solutions to numbers 1 through 9. Here are the solutions to numbers 10 through 14. We did a video solutions manual so that they could access this anytime, not waiting for you. And of course, if they don't get that done, they have online math help. And they can talk to their instructor as well. So we're trying to make sure they have as much help as they possibly can. Moving down to Exercise Part B, you'll notice this right after the gathering, they have to report this. But they had a project to do, and this is important for you to know. You'll notice in their preparation for the gathering, they need to bring exercise 1.3 part B to the gathering, and they need to have read a few things. But let's look at 1.3b just so you can kind of see what they're doing here and how you might be able to help some students. During this time, they start budget and expenses, a portfolio project. So they read these 2 things from LDS Provident Living, and they're beginning a monthly budget and record of expenses that will continue throughout the semester. Now notice they are creating a spreadsheet. We start them off with Excel in this class with the very basics, opening the document, recording stuff in columns and in rows, and that's it. And that's how they'll begin. So if somebody's really freaked out that they don't know Excel, we are assuming that they don't know anything about Excel. And you'll notice here is week 3 quiz, part A. There's not one on part B. They just report what they did the gathering. And then there is a quiz, part C, after all the exercises. So that's kind of how weeks go, piece at a time. And that's kind of nice. So you will be receiving an email emphasizing and reminding you of what's coming up in that week. You are placed in a class so that you can get in here and find out what's going to happen, so you are prepared to answer any questions. Now, you're placed in here as a TA, but your job is not to grade. You shouldn't even have to go to this. But if you do go to the grades, well, you won't see any students here because I don't have any students in this particular class. But if there are students who are struggling, being able to remind them and say, hey, do you need some help going over a quiz or a test? I'm here to help you, is a fantastic thing to do. For you, it goes back to this. You are reaching out proactively to bring them in, and it's one of the best things you can possibly do. To clarify, you are indeed a TA, but you should not grade. That is not part of your responsibilities. If the teacher asks you to do any of the grading, remind them that you were instructed to not do that. You're not a TA for them. You are a connection to the tutoring program. But as a connection, so yeah, you are a connection, but you're not just a passive one, you are a proactive connection. And so let's show you how to do that. You're going to send them email. They can feel that somebody is reaching out after them. So email messages. Let's go back to the class and show you how to do that. There are a couple of things up here. Number one is a contact list. And the contact list will have the name and the email of the people and the students. And so you can click on that email and email them. An easier way to do it is to go over here and click on the inbox. If you click on inbox while you're in here, you can compose a message and say, oh yes, I would like to email this section. Please copy the instructor on the emails that you send to the students so that the instructor is fully aware of your efforts to help these students. And sometimes, and this is something we would like to make sure you do, is that you may have the teacher give you an assignment saying, you know what, could you please reach out to the student? I've tried, but I'm not able to get anything. Maybe they'll listen to peers more, and send them emails every once in a while. So you do get a chance to email them and say, hey, do you need some help? Do you need some help? Which also, in this contact list, or I should say in the people list, it will have a list of like ID numbers. If you're able to see these, if you're not, you may have to email the instructor, but these students have access to iPlan. That's right, they have access to be able to do one-on-one tutoring. They have access to do one-on-one tutoring in iPlan. Now, they do not have BYUI numbers or logins. They have an LDS login. That's what they have to use. And they will be assigned this big, huge 15-digit number. You can actually access that through Canvas if you have the ability to see their ID numbers. So you send out emails and say, hey guys, do you need any help? Here's how to get onto the chat. Yeah, send them to the chat. If they say, oh, I got on the chat, but I need more help, go ahead and set up a one-on-one appointment with them with a Zoom room. Give them a phone call if you want to. Or give their number to our TDS, give it to Brother Baird, somebody, so that we can connect them up with one-on-one tutoring. You do not have to tutor everybody in all the classes that you are connected up with. Good deal. You should be getting your first email on reminding you of these responsibilities and what's up in the first week, first couple of weeks, first 3 weeks, and then you can get to work with them. Okay, good luck.